As we know in pharmaceutical industry, billions of dollars flow every day through complex supply chains. And at the very center of it, there are systems that exchange, validate, secure data. But interestingly, data exchange, EDI integration, or API-driven connectivity are not just IT projects anymore. They are boardroom discussions, right? They are driving efficiency. They are used for reducing compliance risk, and most importantly, ensuring partners can trust every transactions which you are doing. Do you agree with me? I'm Atul Thomre, a senior solution architect here at Axway, and today we are joined by Tarun Nohria from Cencora's EDI integration team, who is also responsible for procure to pay operations. And in order to keep the strategies and in order to keep the pace with regulatory demands, whether it is improving ROI or it is unlocking competitive advantages, we are going to hear from him how he is helping Cencora in this rapidly evolving market. So, Tarun, welcome. I'm excited to have you here with us. How are you doing?
Thank you, Atul. I'm doing great, and thank you for having me here. It is really a pleasure. Me, hosting this podcast with you.
And before we go deep dive, I wanted to ask you, can you give us a quick look at your team and your role in delivering Cencora's business objectives?
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. So basically, you can think of us as a bridge between manufacturers and healthcare providers. We use our expertise in supply chain management, procurement solutions, and financial services to simplify how we provide services, to our healthcare service providers. My team is responsible for EDI, which is electronic data interchange and data integration services at Cencora. We use, business documents such as purchase orders, invoices, shipment notifications between manufacturers and other healthcare providers. So Cencora system is a standardized format, right? It eliminates the need for manual data entry, reduces errors, and speed up the transaction processing.
Tarun, I thought you are going to throw some technical terms around like head down coders and system engineers. But it seems I heard invoices, cash flows, payment workflows, and that sounds crucial to business. And of course, not everybody understand the criticality of the system in the context of their businesses. And I'm sure you would agree, many folks don't realize the importance of these systems until they have outage or until those systems go down. I think one of the example which I recently read was I think around July timeframe, the Canada Border Service Agency had a major system outage, which basically affects all clients and service providers who submits trade data on day-to-day basis, so whether it is through EDI, whether it is through their e-manifest portal. And because of that, all the outbound communications were disrupted, including acknowledgement, whether it is reject messages or any notices which they need to send it out. And it led to, I think, significant delays in the shipment processing and force carriers to revert to the paper documentations, which we all know it's very lengthy and time consuming. So in our pharmaceutical business context, Tarun, like what would it happen if something similar happened to your business?
Yep. So of course, right? No one like outages, but then in pharmaceutical business, if outage happens, it could have a really bad impact. As we are dealing directly with patients, their life and their health, right? So if there is such an outage, right, it could definitely mean
Yeah.
a procurement delays where if we are not able to send a purchase order through EDI to our manufacturer, it could mean that someone would have to manually process that order, which could lead to delays and increased errors. This can also result in stockouts for healthcare providers and missed revenue opportunities for our manufacturers. Because of those outages, we can also think about lack of transparency in the order management. Without integration, without technology, a real-time tracking of these orders become impossible because there could be a miscommunication, there
Yeah.
could be delayed shipments and dissatisfaction among the stakeholders, right? Of course, when we are
Yeah.
not processing these critical like payment related transactions or invoices through EDI, it could also have a inaccurate invoices and delayed payments, which can disrupt the entire cash flow for manufacturer, and it could also lead to complications about financial reconciliation. And
Yeah.
we also have to consider the non-compliance part of audit, right? So if we are not exchanging this business data through a automated system, it could have inaccurate records, which could have increased the risk of non-compliance with our regulatory requirements.
And believe me, that's pretty big impact on business just because of the middleware failure. So my next question would be, how do you keep up with that? How do you keep that from happening, and how do you ensure you are getting your beauty sleep?
Yeah, it is definitely a little tough, but then, I have few tips, which I would like to share about it, right? So the most important factor for
Hmm.
successful integration is, data accuracy and consistency, right? Because it will help reduce error for our data exchange. We also need to consider system inoperability, right? Which because seamless communication between multiple systems, that is the key, to ensure everything is working as expected. Then we also have to think about the business growth, right? So today I might be exchanging, say 100K data files, on a particular day, right? But then my business is growing every day, every month, right? So I have to make sure whatever system I'm using is scalable and I can add the transaction volume as per my business growth, right? Then we also have to consider the compliance part of it, right? That we have a pharma industry, we have some rules and regulations which we have to always comply to, right? And using a best technology service provider helps us keep the things in standard. We have other some strategies for a well-oiled machine. It includes team collaboration, technology maintenance, process optimization, right? So as a leader, I would really recommend everyone to think about these key points.
Thank you. Thank you, Tarun. And that's great. And thank you for sharing not only just the technical aspect of your strategy, but also the business aspect of it, whether it is product, whether it is processes, or whether it is people. And I'm sure it will be very helpful to our viewers as well. Also, the regulation and compliance is another aspect of our business, right, which comes pretty much every time. And the DEA controlled substances is one of them.
Yep.
And the cost of compliance failure in controlled substance area can be very massive, right? Whether it is fines, reputational damages, and even patient safety is at risk. So, how does CSOS help Cencora to mitigate this risk while driving better business outcomes, which you are focusing day in day out?
So basically, in Cencora, we use Axway's CSOS environment, right? So what it does is, it automates the ordering process for our controlled substance products, which reduces the likelihood of any human errors, right? And it can also help all the orders comply with regulatory requirements. This helps minimize the risk of compliance failure, which could lead to significant fines or penalties for the organization. This system also helps us in the real time tracking, okay? Because we can the buyers, or we from the technology side, right? We can track the order from the end to end perspective. It will give immediate identifications of any irregularities or compliance issues in the system.
Knowing you and knowing your team, I know that automation is something which you promote greatly within Cencora. And certificate rotation is definitely a candidate for the same. EDI and digital supply chains are only as strong as the trust between partners. And organizations spend huge efforts, whether it is validating, managing, exchanging the partner certificates. And as we have seen supply chains become increasingly digitized over the last decade, right?
Mhm.
And on top of it, there is a regulatory pressures which is intensifying. Certificate exchange is becoming very mission critical.
Yep.
And I think that's where the CEM, certificate exchange message, comes into the picture. So, why do you believe CEM should be a priority for all the supply chain organizations, or pretty much every organizations, and how does it help create a more reliable and connected as an industry ecosystem?
Sure. So CEM, right? It enables us to, exchange those security certificates in a more automated and streamlined manner. Instead of, organization keeping a track of the certificate expiry and then reaching out to their trading partner, this system, it can help us automate and send those certificates as a message to the trading partner. And once they receive the message, it gets, automatically installed in their system. With this, we don't have to manually track who has downloaded the certificate or not, who has renewed it. CEM as a capability, it enforce and make sure those certificates are getting exchanged in a more streamlined way.
And I think it is worth mentioning that organizations should definitely look into the CM and even encourage their trading partner ecosystem to get the advantage out of the CM.
Exactly.
Now, all this helps to prevent system and errors, some automations. Tarun, what do you think about security? What about the malicious attacks? Right, we are seeing reports constantly. Right,
Mhm.
I think the recent May, I think 2025, North America's largest steel producer, Nucor, suffered a cybersecurity breach, which basically forced production shutdowns across facilities in the US, Mexico, Canada. They even had a disrupted operations and raised the concerns about supply chain delays and national security risk. So, considering our pharmaceutical industry, how does Cencora protect its operations from cyber attacks?
Security, cybersecurity is a buzzword in the industry, but believe me, cybersecurity is taken very seriously in Sencora, not just because it's a buzzword, but because we take this security very, very critical in our company. We have a dedicated team of professionals who puts best effort to protect our systems and data. We also watch for such incidents not just within the organization, but we also go out and watch for such incidents with our trading partners, right? And if we get to know about any such incident, we take proactive steps for the security of our systems.
That's great to hear, Tarun. And I think as just an industry ecosystem, I think it helps sharing those thoughts with our peers from different organizations as well.
Mhm.
On that point, Tarun, we have folks listening from various places in the world. The similar roles, maybe where you have been in their shoes as well. So, what do you see in the industry that maybe other organizations or other teams are struggling with? You know what I mean? Like, what are
Yep.
some of those things that they might not be thinking about necessarily, or they should start thinking about? What advice would you like to offer to your IT integration leaders in the pharmaceutical supply chain business?
I would definitely like to, advise everyone in the industry to pay close attention to our onboarding processes, right? And build automation to streamline the entire process. I personally have had examples where, in the past, when we were manually onboarding partners, we had human errors and then data files were going to a wrong trading partner, right? So in some other industry, it could have been fine, it is just a error. But then in pharma industry, as
Uh-huh.
I said, we are dealing with patients and their lives and health. One simple purchase order being delayed or being sent to some other trading partner means someone could be dying in a hospital, right? So it is very important for people in the pharmaceutical industry, right? Second thing, we also have to think about the chargebacks, right? Any delays in processing a chargeback could have a negative financial impact to the organization. What we need to do is we need to make sure we embrace the standardization, we adopt the industry wide standards for data format, we need to invest in the real time visibility, implement tools and technology that can provide you real time visibility to you within IT as well as your business stakeholders. It is very important. Then we also have to foster the collaboration. Encourage open communication and collaboration between your manufacturer, distributor, or healthcare providers. We need to also prioritize the compliance. We need to stay ahead of regulatory changes by investing in the compliance management system. And last but not the least, we need to promote technology adoption. Provide training, resources to help team members embrace new technology and overcome resistance.
Thank you, Tarun. And I think the collaboration which you mentioned, I think it plays a very crucial role, even as a vendor. When you challenge us or any vendor, for that matter of fact, that help us to adopt and think ahead of the time to address any upcoming challenges in the industries. So, on that note, how does the partnership with Axway has helped you and the team at Cencora at a different value layers, whether it is you take from day to day IT operations or whether you take your business strategic level, because your systems are embedded and very close to the business strategies.
Axway partnership with Cencora delivers, value across multiple layers, from seamless day-to-day IT operations to enabling strategic business growth. By leveraging Axway's robust integration APIs and data flows for optimization tool, we in Cencora is able to enhance our supply chain efficiency, improve customer experience, and scale its operations securely and compliantly. This partnership exemplifies how technology and collaboration can drive success in pharmaceutical supply chain.
Thank you, Tarun, for those kind words. And I know the one thing which I wanted to make sure that this session is also shed some light on the business aspect of it, not just the technology. But I have two, four questions for you. So, what's that one thing you want our listeners, our viewers to take away from these sessions? Like one thing, maybe you wish more people knew about the EDI or the overall integration layer. And the follow up question to that is that one challenge in our area which you are very excited to solve next.
So basically, Atul, what I have seen in my experience, right? Sometimes, the stakeholders, they think, EDI can be think about later. We don't have to engage with EDI teams, at the very beginning of the project. So what I would like to address here is that EDI and integration, they are critical enablers for efficiency, compliance, and innovation in the pharmaceutical supply chain. By understanding their importance, addressing overlooked aspects, and tackling emerging challenges, we can continue to enhance the value they bring to the organization like Cencora and broader industry. Collaboration and innovation will be key to unlocking full potential of these technologies.
Thank you, Tarun. I think this definitely helps reiterating the importance of the integration, whether it is EDI, whether it is API driven technologies. Um, and I would like to just extend your comments on that. The question for industry leaders isn't whether integration is necessary, it's more of whether you are ready to lead the next chapter or not. Data is the new lifeblood of pharmaceutical supply chain, and those who build the systems that are agile, compliant, and as you mentioned, collaborative, will define the future. And the challenge is here, right? And the opportunity is now. So, on that note, thank you, Tarun, for your time, and thank you everybody who have joined us from all across the world. In today's episode, I think we have sparked quite a few ideas. We encourage you to learn more about Axway at axway.com and even explore Sencora's supply chain excellence at sencora.com. And until next time, let's keep challenging ourselves to think bigger, integrate smarter, and lead with purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.